Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Doggy Projections. My name is Lucas. I have Eric here with me today.
Hey guys.
So today we'll be taking a look at the 2020 presidential election based on the PredictIt market. We'll say if we agree or disagree with certain states, as we always do. We'll talk a little bit more about it after the intro, but with that being said, let's get right into it. Before this episode begins, I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Puck Drop LHS. To all our hockey lovers out there, please go and subscribe to their channel. They do great commentary on hockey. Link in the description. See you guys in the video. So essentially how PredictIt works is like any gambling site. You buy stocks to predict a certain result. If you get it correct, you get some money back. The more unlikely the chances of that result happening and you get it correct, the more money you get. So obviously, I do think that people want to obviously get the right result here because they're throwing away their own money for this. Well, not throwing away, but they're spending their own money on this result. Obviously, they don't want to throw away their own money, so they do want to make the most accurate prediction as they can. So this should be a pretty interesting video here. We're going to actually not start from these states. These are the more less obvious ones. We're going to start with the more obvious ones. You know what? Yeah, let's plot them. So we got Delaware here, Maine 1st District. I'm just going to give it safes. Obviously, these aren't safe. I mean, these first two are, but they're usually not going to be completely safe. But I'll just give it safe for this prediction. So, yeah, you know what? I'll just put in all the safe states. Like the obvious ones. I'll leave the ones that are more debatable, and we'll use the PredictIt market here because there isn't really a point of toggling back and forth.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's take a look at, you know what, hold up, oops, oh gosh. Okay, let me check 2nd District. We'll leave that one blank, but I'll be very lenient. I'll be very stringent about which states we characterize as safe. The rest we'll take a look at using the market. So I will leave. Let's see. I'll probably leave. South Carolina goes. Kentucky. I'll leave Iowa. We'll check the prediction on that. I do want to also leave All-State open. Let's see. I think that should be it for the Oh, I missed California. Okay. Am I missing any? I think I got them all. Yeah. Illinois. Oh. All right, that's it. Now we're going to take a look at what the PredictIt market says for each of these states that I have not filled out yet. So let's see. Where are the battles? Okay, yes. Washington will go to the Democrats. That's pretty expected. No surprise there. Oregon will also go to the Democrats. Again, no surprise. Let's see. Kentucky, Louisiana, New Mexico. New Mexico will go to the Democrats, 89 cents. So far, I do agree with these results. Oh, gosh, what did I do? Okay. Let's see. Nebraska's 1st District. That's interesting. For some background, I did check a few weeks ago. The stocks have crashed a bit since before the George Floyd protests. So yeah, things have changed a bit here. Trump has dropped a lot. His stocks have plummeted before. Well, you can't see it here, but before his chances of winning were much higher. It was higher than Joe Biden. Now Joe Biden is leading by a pretty okay margin, like 3-4 cents.
He's not necessarily popular right now, so that's really taking a toll on him. And that's
why. Yep.
And people are very cautious with their money, obviously. So it's a very clear indicator of the overall decision.
Right. Let's look at North Carolina, whoa,
Wow,
interesting.
that's close. A cent to the
That is
Democrats.
over that is over 100 cents. I don't know what the math happened there, but interesting actually. I did not expect that to happen. Huh. We'll talk about that later.
Mhm.
Whoa, Nebraska's second. Well, interesting here. 60-cent lead. Huh. I'm sorry, 20-cent lead. That's really interesting, actually. Let's take a look at the history here. Oh, it looks like the Democrats always led. I never thought that. That is pretty interesting to say the least here. So yeah, let me mark that in right now. That is very interesting. I didn't expect that. We always put that it went to the Republicans, whether it was a close margin or not. All right, Wisconsin. Okay, so it looks like he did lose a cent here, but Wisconsin, that is a pretty comfortable lead, I have to say. That is 17 cents. Yeah, 17 cents. In my opinion, it's a lot closer than 17 cents. But that's really interesting. Nevada will go to the Democrats, 82 cents. It's pretty comfortable as well.
We did put as likely before, so yeah, it makes sense that they're in pretty comfortable lead.
So it looks like Trump did gain a cent here in Georgia. You'd expect Georgia to lose some after the events, since the Atlanta mayor, Lance Bottoms, is now ranked number 2 by CNN for a possible VP selection. Republican, yes, this is no surprise either. Pennsylvania to the Democrats, 66 cents, another pretty good lead here. Arizona, 62-42.
That's a yeah. We usually put it as toss up, and wow, the money here shows how they're in quite a significant lead.
Very interesting. Iowa will go to the Republicans. No surprise here. Michigan will also go to the Democrats. Looks like they. Oh, sorry. Did I say Michigan? Oh, yeah. No. Michigan will go to the Democrats, losing a cent here, but looks like they will still go. Let's see. What am I missing? Minnesota. Texas, I did see that it will go to the Republicans. Virginia will go to the Democrats, 88-13. That's really surprising considering it used to be a swing state. Clearly not anymore. I'm kind of interested to see Florida. Is Florida also going to the Democrats? Yes, it is. Wow, a 1 point lead. Huh. This is really interesting. So, last state is Minnesota. I am expecting this one to. Oops, didn't mean to bookmark there. I'm expecting this one to go to. The Democrats. Yeah, 77-25. No surprise again. Interesting. So
I'm surprised that it went up too after the protests.
Yeah, it is interesting here, but this is quite interesting actually. This is not better than.
There's a very clear.
I missed New Hampshire. New Hampshire is to the Democrats, and I also missed Maine All-State. Maine All-State will also go to the Democrats. Okay. So this is your final totals according to the PredictIt. This is very interesting, I have to say. This is not better than what Obama did in 2008. He is flipping back North Carolina. He is flipping back Nebraska second. But he is going to lose Maine second. So yeah, this is really interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, but Joe Biden does win by a very significant margin. It's a very comfortable lead, more than 100 delegates. I'm really curious if that carries on into the real election. I'm not sure it will be this. I'm not sure Biden will lead by that much, but this is a glimpse into what could be the election.
So this is better than Barack Obama's 2012 election, I believe, because he is flipping back North Carolina. This is, let's see. Let's go state by state here. Let's start by discussing the less obvious ones. Arizona, I'm going to be honest, at this point, it is leaning more to the Democrats. Now, I do think the Democrats will carry the state. I initially put it as tilt D. I think it is swinging more to the Democrats at this point. I honestly might put this one as lean. Initially, when we first started this channel, this was a pure toss-up, but it's clearly moved to the Democrats' direction here.
Just like as we said in previous videos, actually, it was our last presidential video, Arizona and Florida, both Democratic states marked here, do have a pretty significant Hispanic demographic. And that, as we said, will increase turnout since they do want to support the Black Lives Matter movement, which overall does give the Democrats a leg up. So that may be the reason why these two states are turning blue.
Definitely. I do want to give a reminder to our viewers that Joe Biden was on the ticket in 2008, and in that ticket, Barack Obama was able to indeed carry the states of, let me mark them here, of North Carolina, which we do see Joe Biden carrying in this PredictIt simulation, as well as the state of Indiana, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, I don't think he will carry Indiana. That's basically impossible at this point. But I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be a big surprise if Joe Biden was able to carry the state of North Carolina, considering he was on the same ticket with Barack Obama that won the state. But in all likelihood, I think it's going to Trump still. It's either tilt R or lean R, in my opinion. We've discussed this before. I don't think it's Democratic. And I think another reason why that happens is because Roy Cooper, the North Carolina governor, is on the ballot this year, and people do want to go out and vote for him. And if they want to vote for him, they might as well vote for Joe Biden as well on the ticket, considering they're both Democrats. This might bring out these Democratic voters. So that is really interesting to see. I think this is probably the one that I disagree with the most. The second thing I disagree with the most is Florida. I think Florida will go to Donald Trump. It's going to be very slim, maybe slimmer than 2008. But I do think at the end of the day, Donald Trump will be able to carry the state. Because Florida is swinging more to the right at this point. Polls do show Biden leading by a slight number. But again, we can't always trust the polls. Although they were in the margin of error in 2016, there are shy Trump voters. We talk about these a lot. These are the people that are afraid to say when they get the poll call that they want to vote for Trump because, they might feel kind of embarrassed about it due to the mainstream media, kind of talking so much quote unquote trash about him. People might feel scared about that. And as a result, the polling results swing to the left a bit. So yeah, this is quite interesting here. Florida, I don't agree with. What do you think about Florida, Eric?
Yeah, I was actually gonna just say, but anything can change. It took, unfortunately, a whole police brutality event to spark protests all over the country, in every single state. I just read a recent article. They're happening in every single state, and this turn of events, it's possible. Not saying that it's going to happen, but it could possibly give Florida the Democratic win. Not saying a complete guarantee. I also agree with you. Usually, I would put it as still Republican, but I'm just throwing that possibility out there.
What would be interesting here is if Joe Biden were to choose Representative Val Demings of Florida, I do think he would have maybe a stronger chance of winning the state. Maybe I would put this one as tilt D because Val Demings does have a pretty. I mean, she's not that well known, but she is an African American representative. She will bring out the vote in Florida.
Sorry, just as a former police chief, she'll probably definitely push to fight for the justice system in America, which is a very hot topic right now, as we know.
Right, so she definitely does, as her background as a police chief, and in this time period, it will definitely help get those votes out. When we're talking about the South here, while we're on the subject about it, another way I think Joe Biden can carry the state of Florida is by choosing either Stacey Abrams or Atlanta Mayor Lance Bottoms. Now, the issue with those two is I don't think they're the best candidates to choose because they are a bit too inexperienced. Considering Joe Biden's age, I personally don't think he will run for re-election in 2024. So he obviously needs a vice president that can succeed him with the experience. I don't think that the two of them have that enough experience. So Georgia, I do think that either way, no matter who he chooses, I do think we'll still go to the Republicans. This is a good prediction here. I do think it will go to the Republicans either way. Let's see, what else here are we discussing? Nebraska's second is an interesting one. If you guys remember, Joe Biden and Barack Obama carried this district in 2008. I don't know why I said it like that, but 2008. They both carried the second district. Will it happen again? In all likelihood, no. And the numbers here were close. Oh no, actually, it wasn't close in this one. It was 60-40. Because although this is the bigger city, and we have a lot of Omaha, it's a lot of the urban areas that usually vote for the Democrat. This is still Nebraska, a pretty solidly red state. So I don't think that, because I do think that even though there's big cities here, there's still going to be those Republican voters. I don't think it will go to Joe Biden, but there's definitely a chance. But I don't think that, although it would be close, I don't think that he will carry it at the end of the day. I don't think it's definitely going to Trump. I don't think it's even probably going to Trump. I think it will go to Trump, but in a pretty small margin. It will be a close race.
Once again,
yep.
Anything can happen. Again, I'm saying this again multiple times in this video, but again, in this country, it takes one thing and everything can change. Some not necessarily saying that I'm saying they're correct, but some people think that Texas is going to be toss-up, which, again, if people just write about that in a public journal, that's saying something. I don't agree with that, but there are articles out there that are changing the who wins just based off this event. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it is kind of early to predict right now. Although it's June, we still have how many months until the election? 1, 2, 3, 4.
They counted 152 days until November 3rd.
150. Yeah, so there is still a lot of time. A lot can change. I think what's interesting here is Wisconsin. Wisconsin they put Joe Biden as the leader by, how much did he put it? It was a pretty decent margin, I think, in this PredictIt. That's not going to help, is it? Where is Wisconsin? Here. 59-42. That is a pretty big margin. Let's look at the change over time. Looks like there was a bit of a crash.
It does make sense. There were protests in Milwaukee, one of the biggest cities there. So that's fairly reasonable.
Although the Democrat always did lead, I do think it was relatively close at a point in time. I think that Trump actually was leading. This is quite interesting to look at. Didn't really expect that. But that is pretty interesting to look at, that the entire blue wall safely in that prediction. It was about, I think he had at least a 10-cent lead in all of those states, that it is pretty safely going to Joe Biden. He's flipping all 3 states that, if you guys don't remember, that Donald Trump carried in, not Minnesota, but Donald Trump carried all 3 in 2016. That's really interesting to look at. Maybe it's because of the recent events. Although it did look like throughout history of this projection, the past 30 days, it did look like that it was always expected to go that way. Let's look at the 90-day now. Yeah, it did look like what would happen here. Interesting. But yeah, it did always look like that. Joe Biden was going to win, which I don't personally agree with. So I guess people really did have confidence that he was going to win. Now, another interesting point that I want to show right now is, let me clear all selections. This was pretty interesting to look at. Joe Biden leads this race here, but if you look at the 90-day, when I first checked this projection, Donald Trump was leading. Actually, Donald Trump has been leading for the most of this PredictIt market here, even though before, like, Joe Biden would win the state-by-state thing, Trump was always projected to be the winner until recently.
Yeah, this kind of makes sense because in time, I'm going to say it time and time again, during times of crisis, politicians who lead high positions do get more popular. But they gave Donald Trump a chance, but with this police brutality occurrence, it was inevitable to flop. That was Donald Trump's last straw, and we see that with the stocks for him falling down and Joe Biden's rising after he gave his speech in response to George Floyd's death.
And also his new plan for the police brutality. He I do think that was able to bring out more of, he will get more support from the voters. That's why there's a lot more confidence for him to win. Yeah, this is quite interesting here. Well, I think that's all the states we need to discuss. Because I think everything else we do pretty decently agree with here. Ohio, Iowa, they're swinging more to the right. I don't even think they're going to be swing states in 2024. But that seems to be it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you like our content, please hit subscribe. We'll see you in our next video tomorrow.
See ya.